Well, life sure does come at you fast. One moment, you're outside Greta Baryeg screaming, "Cup yeah," to absolutely anybody within earshot. And then, about an hour later, you could be hosting a post-game show, somehow talking about how the Edmonton Oilers allow 5 unanswered goals. But the thing about life coming at you fast is that the Edmonton Oilers have no time to dwell on that loss. We got more hockey tonight. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals between the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars. Hello and welcome to Pregaming with Bordzy, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant, and it's also a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today because you know the drill, people. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365 this evening. All Friday night long. I am joined by, and what did you text me the other day? I asked you if you want to do the Friday night show, and you said, there is no, paraphrasing here, there is no place I would rather be than by your side Friday night at Greta Baryeg. Zach, I'm feeling very good on this Friday afternoon. I know it's been in and out of rain all day today. The sun, however, right now is shining. We're feeling good. Patrick Puff, his dad, is down here at the bar Greta Baryeg, which last year he was with us for basically every single game of the NHL postseason. He's a good omen. Zachary, how are you feeling? You're also a good omen.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I'm doing good, Bordzy. Happy to be here again down at my favorite place in Edmonton. Going to be one hell of a game tonight. I don't think there's any other way to cut it. Fascinating to see what happened there in game 1. 40 great minutes of hockey. Unfortunately, hockey games are 60 minutes long, sometimes longer, if you factor in overtime, but 60 minutes, right? The Oilers had one hell of a 40, and that final 20 was pretty rough. But, the truth of the matter is that I think there's a lot of really good things to take away from that game. Obviously, it's easy to kind of get down after coughing up a 3-1 lead like that, but come on. The Oilers are 4-12 in game 1s in the McDavid and Draisaitl era. They still have not met a game 1 that they've liked. So was the case here in game 1 against the Dallas Stars. I'm expecting a big rebound tonight from that.
The Edmonton Oilers have had their hearts ripped out of their chest in some very painful ways the last couple of years in the playoffs. That last game, nothing new, and it's nothing new for me and the fan base. I sit here today the exact same mood I was right on Oilersnation After Dark, that yes, that sucked, but I still feel very good about the Edmonton Oilers in this series. They, I'll say the word, dominated at 5v5 throughout 40 minutes. That's the problem with 60 minutes. There's a reason that cliches are cliche, because you do need to play for a full 60 minutes. The Oilers could not keep their sticks down with a multi-goal lead, and then before you know it, it all blows up in your face. But before we go any further, I would like to give a shout out to Odd Company Nation Beer Everyday Lager, because it's perfect for game day. It's perfect for every day, every single day that ends in Y. You can pick them up 2 Edmonton locations, downtown or Ritchie, or simply check liquorconnect.com and you can find out which local liquor stores do be carrying these bad boys. But Zachary, down here at Greta Baryeg, it is an away game, which means it is a full-on nation event this evening. Every single table in this place already reserved. Every single chair already reserved. The sun's shining. They're cleaning up the patio right now. So if you don't have a reservation, the patio is always first come, first serve. You could do that, or you could also come just down here. We stand for basically the entire game. Brett screams at the TV, and also Brett is not working this evening. He is off producing. He's right now down the road. He's filling up an Oodle Noodle, getting a pregame meal inside of him to feel good. But I got a couple surprises up my sleeve this night at Greta Baryeg. This goes the way I want it to. I intend to be grittying on top of that bar counter, maybe not even just once, hopefully twice, maybe even 3 times throughout this night. Zachary, I live here at Greta Baryeg. You've been here for a lot of good ones. I'll say it, I picked you on Friday because you're a good guy to have on a Friday night show with me. You excited what we got down here at Greta Baryeg this evening?
It's my favorite place in the city.
It really is.
It's such a great spot. And, you mentioned Brett standing room only. Him and I, we got a post over here right along the fence, kind of by the dance floor where the
TV,
stand.
5 feet, not even 5 feet in front of your face.
We've got a TV right in front of us. And then we got a big screen projector right beside us. Speaking of which, I actually think about getting a projector for Chateau Laing. We've been here so many times, and I'm like, God damn, this thing is huge. And I'm like, I got this big blank white wall in my
Do it.
place. I think I might have to get to that. But nonetheless, it's going to be an absolute party down here, Bordzy. It's nice of you all to catch us sober right now because I don't think we'll be so much in a couple of hours.
It's pre-gaming with boards, baby, and we are true to the name. Yeah, also, you ever see those Instagram ads where it's like in your room, you can get like a mini projector, you can put it on the ceiling? That's one I'm not that lazy that I can't sit up, but I would like to be that lazy where I don't have to sit up. Zachary, I'm just delaying it because before we can move forward to game 2, we do have to talk about what happened in game 1. And after a week of waiting for Edmonton Oilers hockey, the Oilers were back on the ice on Wednesday, and they looked fantastic for 40 minutes of that hockey game. Connor McDavid was feasting on that Dallas Stars defense. Leon Draisaitl looking much like the MVP Hart Trophy candidate, future winner. Damn it, I'll say it right now. Plus 450 ticket still sitting in my Bet365 account. But I was having a great time at Greta Bar Yeg. I was dead sober and legit, dude. Now, I will say, Rick, he had the biggest jinx of everything. He came into this bar before the third period and said to Jay, I'm thinking about buying a broom. That's something you just simply cannot say inside this bar or any bar anywhere inside these city limits. But I was outside. I was vibing. I was talking with everyone saying, man, it truly is a cup year for the Edmonton Oilers. They looked fantastic at 5v5. Dallas had nothing going. And as I mentioned, Connor and Leon were simply just eating. And then, Zach, well, the third period comes your way. The Edmonton Oilers start the period shorthanded. And the one thing is, I think normally when you have a penalty at the end of a period, you go, dude, they can have that power play to start on the fresh sheet of ice. The numbers, you look it up, they just don't simply score a lot on those power plays. But Miro Heiskanen, he scores one. And then before you know it, in a 6-minute span, I believe it's 5 minutes and 46 seconds, the Edmonton Oilers allow 1, 2, 3 power play goals against. Yes, Matt Duchene was high-sticked. There's a lot of angles, a lot of people trying to prove things. No. That clipped him right in the face, had a good screenshot. It like hugged the side of his cheek. And it was kind of, Zach, a stunning collapse, and that's just the thing. I think it was a collapse more than it was a Dallas Stars comeback because the Edmonton Oilers just gift-wrapped the game to the Dallas Stars, a team that has the best power play remaining in the postseason. There's only 4 teams. It's 34.6% through their 14 or 15 games so far this postseason. Their depth hasn't shown up a lot throughout the postseason. Well, if you give their depth opportunities with the man advantage, they are going to make you pay. And that is exactly what they did to the Edmonton Oilers. But, Zach, I'm curious your thoughts. And as Dubiat right after on ONAD, was that a Dallas Stars comeback effort or was that an Edmonton Oilers collapse? I do think both things can be true, but you have to pick one. What was it?
Yeah, I think it was an Edmonton Oilers collapse.
Absolutely.
Listen, you got to give some credit where it's due. They capitalized, right? They capitalized on the Edmonton Oilers' mistakes. This is an Oilers team, quite frankly, that just needs to be more disciplined tonight. I think that's going to be a common theme. Sticks down.
Yeah.
It's going to be a common theme that we're going to talk about here tonight. Stay out of the penalty box because the Oilers really controlled that game pretty much front to back in terms of the 5-on-5 play. They controlled the shot attempt share, even going into the third period. Even when you adjust for score and venue and all those kind of things, the expected goal share, the scoring chance share, the high danger chance share, like the Oilers were on it. They were on it all night long. I think if the Oilers just find a way to keep this game at 5-on-5, sprinkle in a power play to their own, I think the Oilers can be in really good shape here.
I'm still feeling incredibly good after that hockey game. You can't just take out 20 minutes of a 60-minute effort. Mentally, I already have done that. We didn't even go through the third period in the scoring summary on after Wednesday. Said, I don't know what happened after that. I also realized I forgot to say hello to every single one of you in the chat. Timeout. Let's check in. Amanda's in. Says, big win tonight, baby. Let's go. Also, Chris Knobloch, he's in, and he says, I got Jeff Skinner good with that prank. Jeff Skinner's in. Says, Coach, that wasn't funny. If you don't know what he's referring to, was that earlier today at Morning Skate, Connor Brown, maintenance day once again. He was not in the lineup. Jeff Skinner was skating in his spot on the third line right wing. Everybody was talking. Even our boy Waz had a tweet. Oh, my God, is Jeff Skinner coming in? Zach, we both said the moment I saw that has basically should be all capitals placeholder. I think Arvidsson would get in before Skinner in that opportunity. And then quickly after practice, Chris Knobloch says, no. Connor Brown will be playing tonight, and there will be no Jeff Skinner in the lineup. Shea's in with a simple, let's go Oilers. And what I say to Shea, happy birthday, brother, because I do believe he said earlier today on ONE that it was his birthday. We love you. Hopefully, all you're asking for is an Edmonton Oilers W. Lance Kane comes in and says, a cup yeah.
A cup, yeah.
Bella's in and says, let's play a full 60-minute game. Emphasis on that game tonight and get a split on the road. A cup yeah.
A cup, yeah.
Now, Bob Stauffer's in. Might be the real Bob Stauffer when you read this. I'm at Hooters right now with the boys in TO. Let's go Oil. You should be at Greta Bar Yeg in downtown Toronto. I believe it's on King Street Northwest, something like that. Do I know where that is? Absolutely no idea, but I'm a Greta man through and through. Sasky girl Oil fan, better third period, more discipline, and we've got this. I like fighting Amish, giving a little spin. Not a cup, yeah, it's a year of the cup.
Absolutely, the year of the cup.
Liam Horban is also in with a simple go, Oilers, go, period, is what I'm going to add on there as well. Fighting Amish Papa Puff in the house. Yeah, it's gonna be a good night down here tonight. Nathan also says happy birthday as well. Amanda, expecting to see a well-oiled machine tonight. Actually, that's perfect time for me to tell you. When we're down here at Greta Bar Yeg, we've also got Nation Gear pop-up sales going on. There's the new Oily Boy Club, an homage to the Pink Pony Club, if you will. Been over a week since I've really jammed that song in my car 5 times in a row on the drive home. I've pretty much done that after every single W. Would love to do that in the Uber on my ride home back home tonight, because I didn't drive to this establishment tonight. But come on down to here, nationgear.ca, all kinds of merchandise. I got this one and our classic Oil Up line. That is our playoff anthem, and we live and we die by it. So I will say, in that hockey game, you never want to just blame it on exactly one thing. However, I could say in game one, it's pretty easy to just blame it on the penalty kill and the amount of penalties, the type of penalties that the Edmonton Oilers were taking at the conclusion of that game. I don't know what was worse, the PK itself or the type of penalties they were taking, these stick infractions like Corey Perry, just two-handed Sam Steele right in front of the net, right in front of the ref, that far away from your own crease. Can't happen. The Evander Kane one. And once again, hindsight's 2020. Matt Duchene was on his forehand. Puck was like coming to his backhand. Kane comes in to try and lift the stick that wasn't even totally there. Just clips him right in the face. Shooting yourself in the own foot is the way I'll put that one nicely. But it was 3 power play goals in 5 minutes and 26 seconds, all due to the sloppy stick play and all those things that I just mentioned. The Dallas Stars, I also mentioned, have an unbelievable power play during this postseason. And you look at the name value on their roster, it's power play 1 and it's power play 2. They know how to get the job done. Talked about how the depth hasn't shown up. You cannot give them literally the fuel to start up their engine again here, and that's what it kind of was with Matt Duchene. Gina, you can just put those down. Actually, I'll take my Greta Corp cup. Yeah.
I'll take one.
Shout out Greta Corp. Shout out Greta Corp there as well. But the Edmonton Oilers, I'll take obvious statements for $1,000, Alex. They need to find a way to fix that penalty kill. We talked about on After Dark. Do you change up the lineup? Do you put in Ty Emberson over Stetch? What can you change? Expecting the Oilers are going to make no changes in this hockey game. So, I mean, they're going to stick to their structure at this point in the season. Your PK is what it is. The one thing I would recommend with a struggling penalty kill, best way to help that out, don't let them get on the ice and try to limit the amount of times you are in that penalty box. You think about the momentum and the waves that went through in that game. Second period, that Dallas Stars crowd was silent. You could hear a pin drop. You gift them so many power plays in a row. Not only did they score, the crowd's back into it, and from there, the Edmonton Oilers are chasing the hockey game. Obvious statement, Zach, the PK needs to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any way to cut it here. Got to find a way to get a kill. Listen, I know that Chris Knoblaw has said that Mattias Ekholm is going to be out for games 1 and 2 of this series. I would not be surprised if Mattias Ekholm entered the lineup here tonight. You know, we saw some clips of him a couple of days ago in practice. He looked to be moving really, really well. You know, what is the difference between a Friday and a Sunday afternoon game? Not a lot, right? That's kind of the way that I look at it. We're looking at a 40-hour difference here. It wouldn't surprise me if he entered the lineup and Troy Stetcher slid out. We'll see what happens here. You know, lineups are Warm-up's going to start in about 20, 25 minutes or so. So we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, the penalty kill, I mean, they just got to find a way to get one. I think that's the biggest thing here for this PK, right? Just find a way to get a kill and build momentum off of that. Of course, the easy thing too is, stay out of the penalty box like we talked about. But what was really interesting too was Leon Draisaitl after game one. He talked about, the penalty kill, like we obviously needed to get a kill at some point, but the Oilers had the opportunity on the power play to get back in that game in the third period as well. They could have tied it up at 4-4 and it would have been a brand new hockey game. So I think the special teams on both sides here, we need to see some improvements. Granted, yes, I do know that, they had the power play goal early in that game, and that was great to see. But, when they really needed to come up with one, they couldn't find a way to come up with a timely power play goal.
I see Westside Shane is in here. He says, huge take. But I was thinking the same fucking thing when referring to one Matthias Ekholm. I mean, a man can dream. He's obviously on the trip. I think that's more for him to get in the game day routine to be ready to go for games 3 and 4 in Edmonton. But once again, a man can dream, and I'm going to let your dreams be dreams, yours as well. Also, Dougie, wait your turn. I do see you in the chat. Pat, he can be negative from time to time. I couldn't take it on After Dark, the last one. I had to put him in a timeout. He's been asking me if we're still friends. I guess we can still be friends, Doug Waite, but I tell you, you're on thin ice, brother, with that negativity. I want strictly positivity. It's Friday night down here in downtown Edmonton. We're going to will this team to victory tonight. The only other one thing I want to talk about in game one, I loved Corey Perry at the end of the game doing the turtle and everything that he does. Once again, can't read into all that stuff. I get why Liam Bichelle turtled and didn't want to get in that fight. I wouldn't want to go toe-to-toe with one Corey Perry. That's exactly what a veteran does at the end of the hockey game. Try and grab some momentum back. Try and get some emotion back into the series. But, Zachary, did you laugh your ass off as much as I did with the turtling? There's just a Edmonton Oilers turtle thing back to the days of Zach Cassidy and Matthew Tkachuk. I was laughing my ass off in this bar at that.
It was hilarious. Give the Oilers some credit there. A little fight in the final minute of the game. You see it happen often, especially when a team, like the Oilers
Shane Gostisbehere ripping pucks at Brad Marchand.
That was objectively one of the funnier things that I've seen in the NHL this season. You absolutely love that. But yeah, the turtle was absolutely hilarious. Just kind of peak Corey Perry right there. Yeah. Like Leon Bichelle, like he's not a small guy. Like he's like 6'7". Like he can stand up. He can handle his own, but for him to kind of go down and turtle the way that he did, tough scene there. And good on Corey Perry for making fun of him too.
Damn right, Corey Perry. We love that, man. We love that, man. So yes, game one was a heartbreaker. It's one that the Edmonton Oilers felt like they let slip away. Corey Perry actually talked about it and saying, hey, that just makes you all that more motivated in a game two. You fight for the puck harder. You're going to skate a little bit faster, so on and so forth. And hey, the Edmonton Oilers, the goal has always and will always be steal one game on the road and grab back home ice advantage. They still have a beautiful opportunity to do that tonight. We talked about the 40 minutes of dominance, and then it all falls apart in the third period. But that's nothing new to the Edmonton Oilers. As I said, they've had their hearts ripped out of their chests plenty of times. Last year, second round, Game 5 against Vancouver, they allow a goal in the final minute. Think of it this year. They dominate the Vegas Golden Knights for 2 games. They allow a game-losing goal with 0.4 seconds. All the talking heads are like, is this the momentum changer that the Golden Knights need? Can the Edmonton Oilers recover from that? Well, yeah, they did, and then they just kicked the shit out of the Golden Knights. They did it for 2 games, lost 1, got right back to business in games 4 and 5 with bagels from one Stuart Skinner. You think they've been down 0-2 to the LA Kings already this postseason, rattled off 4 straight wins, and then, yes, they were down 0-3 in the Stanley Cup Finals last season, rattled off 3 wins. And the Stanley Cup Finals never finished, actually, so I don't actually know how that one ended. But they're Edmonton Oilers since 2022, 3-9 in game ones. I think in the total McDry era, it's 4-12. Read that in somebody's articles earlier this morning. But since 22 in game twos, they are 6-5. And McDavid had a great quote ahead of game 2. Quote, "This group has always responded to these types of situations pretty well, and I expect the same tomorrow night. We've had disappointment in various different runs and various times in these playoffs and responded really, really well. I expect to do that again tomorrow. So do I." Connor McDavid, 2+ points at Bet365. There's a lot to be happy about in game one. Very, very good play, 5v5 from the Edmonton Oilers through 40 minutes. Without the power play, I don't think Dallas would have ever gotten back into that game. Now, Aaron, join reality. That is actually what happened. But if you clean it up, and I think the message is pretty clear to everybody in that room, you need to stay disciplined with your sticks especially. But hey, they're in a great spot here tonight. And yes, it's loser talk. The deserve to win a meter was 65% in favor of the Edmonton Oilers after game one. And I feel, once again, obvious statements for 1,000. The Oilers play like periods 1 and 2 in this hockey game, and I love their chances. A lot to be happy about here.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, keep this game at 5-on-5, and
Yes.
you're wide open. I didn't really feel like the Dallas Stars were like a major threat in any way at 5-on-5 in that game. I thought Stuart Skinner, beyond the penalty kill mishaps in the third period there, played a good game. I thought he was helping keep the Oilers in it through 40. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Listen, we know the Oilers respond well in hockey games. We know they respond well in the playoffs. We've seen it for years and years and years now, and I think that's exactly what we're going to be in line for here tonight.
It's a great trait to have. I mean, you talk about all the pain and the heartbreak. It's always that discussion, right, that you need to learn how to lose before you can win. I'd argue the Edmonton Oilers have done their fair share of losing, and they are ready to win. The other thing in this series, and you're going to hear it a lot, is the phrase depth scoring, because it's arguably the biggest key to this series besides the Edmonton Oilers penalty kill in the Dallas power play, I would say, because Edmonton, they've relied on their depth for 2 series in a row. It carried them through LA, carried them through especially against the Vegas Golden Knights. Meanwhile, the Dallas Stars, we talked about it a lot through 2 rounds. It was their top line and then everybody else. The top line had 18 of their 34 total goals throughout the first 2 rounds, but it wasn't really the case in game one between the Oilers and the Stars. Yes, Connor and Leon were supernova nuclear level. McDavid looked shot out of a cannon. I should probably bet Connor McDavid 3 points in this hockey game tonight because he looks highly motivated. He had the McTuft going at one point as well. That's when you know, baby. But it was the Dallas Stars players that had some depth scoring. Obviously, Tyler Seguin scores the early breakaway goal. He does get credit for the one afterwards. Nice move from my guy, Sammy Steele. And then I thought that puck was missing the net, and he happened to score from behind Stuart Skinner. It's a weird one. Matt Duchene gets a depth goal. It's on the power play, so it's not necessarily depth, but he's the one who drew the penalty right beforehand, so I'm going to say that's a depth play, at least from a guy like that. And for the Edmonton Oilers, it was the top 2 lines. The third line, I thought of Rico, Kane, and Brownie. Did not like that trio. Thought they got beat up pretty consistently. And then the fourth line had very limited ice time. They weren't very noticeable, couldn't really affect the game. It's only one game, but we knew depth was going to be a big thing. Game one, Dallas got it. Game one, the Edmonton Oilers did not.
Absolutely, and it's something the Oilers are going to need here. Listen, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they did their part in game one. They helped account for 3 of the goals. All 3 of the goals the Edmonton Oilers
they were
scored,
on the ice.
Right? They were on the ice for, Leon Draisaitl, 3-point performance for him. The depth has got to step up. I mean, that third line, they got absolutely caved in playing against the bottom 6 of the Dallas Stars. Rico, Brown, Kane, only 27% of the shot attempt share, 18% of the expected goal share. I'm not a mathematician, but those are some pretty poor numbers right there for those guys. So I'm going to need a big turnaround performance from them here too. Going to need them to dig in and find another level in this game.
I love our chat. Philip Deneau's nose is in the chat. Says, hey, it's me again. Had a great day on the golf course today. Still a little left of the fairway. Shout out to everybody in there. Let's go now to our need to know information, courtesy of Will Beef Jerky, because only the finest tasting meat products earn that Wilhock name, made from a 100% Alberta beef. Their jerky is aged, seasoned, smoked, and marinated to savory perfection. They gladly fill orders of any size. You can find their jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location. Or for more information to get your jerky on, head on over to WilhockBeefJerky.com. So the Edmonton Oilers, you just kind of mentioned it. 2 of their goals came at even strength. 1 came on the power play. All 3 of them came with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on the ice. Leon was centering his own line, but I'd say spent about half the time on Connor McDavid's wing, half the time centering his own line as well. And as I mentioned, the Oilers' third line got a little caved, and the fourth line didn't even series 87.5% of the time. However, as I mentioned, the Oilers just went down over straight wins. They were down 0-3 to the Florida Panthers. You take your stats, and you could shove. He mentioned his quote, I'm expecting him to be shot out of a cannon, 12 points in 7 career playoff games against the Dallas Stars. Connor McDavid, anytime goal. Stuart Skinner, he's going to get the start. He came in back shutouts, and he was rock solid for 40 minutes of that hockey game. Then, much like the rest of the squad, it all kind of fell apart there in that third period on the penalty kill. And Stu, for the box score hunters, finished with an .815 save percentage. I had a buddy of mine, you know him, the super gremlin, the annoying one that always gives you shit. Yesterday in the afternoon, we got in like an hour-long text battle argument that he was putting that loss on Stuart Skinner. I snapped, dude. I just couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it. I'm going to ask Doobie to tell the super gremlin why he is an idiot. But the Dallas Stars, their side of the need to know, they scored 3 consecutive goals on the power play in game 1. They have now gone 15 for 43 on the power play this postseason for the highest conversion rate of anyone left, 34.6%. Miro Heiskanen, he's going to be a problem. He was awesome in game 1, played 24 minutes and 13 seconds, had a goal, had an assist. He has now been back from injury for 4 games. He has 4 points, and he also has 5 points in 7 career games against the Edmonton Oilers. Their back end, after that top unit, that top pairing, definitely there's some room for the imagination there. But Thomas Harley and Miro Heiskanen, those boys are both 25 or younger, and I think they're going to be a problem in the Western Conference. Jake Ottinger, also young. He gets the start. 2.51 goals against, .917 save percentage through 14 playoff games thus far. He allowed 3 goals in the first 2 periods of game 1, but give him credit. He shut the door in that third period, specifically on that power play that you mentioned as well, with a couple minutes left. They're also playing the highlights right now of game 1. That was the Sam Steele Sangan goal right there. Somebody turn it off over here. Let's go now to the Sherwood Ford Giant storyline, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant Nation Valet Service. Come on now. They are the best, the Giant, for a reason. The valet service, they'll come to your work. They'll come to your home. They will pick up your vehicle. They'll drive it back to the shop. They'll service it, do whatever needs to be done, and they will drive that bad boy right on back to you before you leave the office, before you need to leave to go out that evening. Sherwood Ford, they are the best. And actually, before we get to our Sherwood Ford Giant storyline, I do have some game notes here, courtesy of the fantastic staff at Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Hit it for me, Pat.
Connor McDavid had another 4-shot performance in Game 1, and he now leads the playoffs in shots on goal with 47. Let's go Oilers!
It's Giant Mike, and the Oilers are great at rebounding. They're 8-4 after a loss over the last 2 playoffs. Let's go Oilers!
With his 3-point performance in Game 1, Leon Draisaitl now has 4 games with at least 3 or more points in the last 2 playoff seasons. Let's go!
Let's go! I don't know who I love more, Giant Mike or that guy whose name I still don't know. Giant Mike, are you in the chat? Can you please let us know? Because that guy, his fits, talk about being on 100. Yeah, his fits are on 100 as well. So my Sherwood Ford Giant storyline, it's already what I touched on. The goal will always be to steal one on the road and take back home ice advantage. The Oilers, come on, awesome opportunity to do it. Also, the brawl's going down right now on the screen as well. We're going to get some turtle action right here. But the Oilers, they were the much better team at 5v5. I do think while the depth has carried the Oilers through 2 rounds of the NHL playoffs, hey, sometimes it's not wrong to lean on your star players and need them to go supernova, go nuclear, and carry you across the finish line. I think in this series, we are going to see Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl put this team on their metaphorical backs. And I'm expecting a big night from both of them. I think they know, like as I mentioned, Connor's quote there, he knows after a tough loss, there's no smile in Connor McDavid right now. It is all business for this Edmonton Oilers team. Hopefully, they know that, and later tonight on Oilers Nation After Dark, we can be celebrating a big Edmonton Oilers W. But once again, you got to play for 60 minutes. It's a cliche for a reason, damn it, because against this Dallas Stars team, they are way too good. If you give them an opportunity, you give them an avenue, they are going to make you pay. After all, this is the Western Conference Final. It is the best of the best in the West. You got to bring your best game. Zachary, you got a storyline or a key to victory? Oh, key to victory? PK.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's such a huge one here tonight. Going to need to be good on the penalty kill. Would love to see a depth goal, see that 3rd or 4th line chip in on the board. For me, I think one of my keys to the game here, can this top line take over the game once again? They had a great performance in game 1. I thought they were really solid. You know, it's really interesting when you actually look at the underlying numbers for this Oilers top line here. In the playoffs so far, they've generated 4.7 expected goals for per hour of ice time. They've only scored 1.1 goals for per hour of ice time. They're due for a heater. They're due for some 5-on-5 goals here, and I would like to see that happen in a big way here tonight. We'll talk about it in Bordzy's bankroll, and we'll talk about the bets that I got placed tonight, heavily centered around that Oilers top line.
Yeah, it's Connor McDavid's world. We're just living in it. It's the NHL playoffs. Let's not overthink these things. 97, expecting a big game for him. So, Patrick, we can just pull it up, the projected Edmonton Oilers lineup. As Ann mentioned, what up, brothers? The Edmonton Oilers expected to roll out the same lineup as they did in their last game. Top line of Ryan Nugent Hopkins with Connor McDavid and Zachary Hyman. Second line, Vasily Podkolzin with Leon Draisaitl and Kasperi Cheeks Klappinen, Evander Kane with Adam Henrique and Connor Brown, who is expected to be in the lineup. Trent Frederick with the janitor, Matthias Janmark, and the worm, Corey Perry. Your deep pairings. Hey, they're sticking together. It's Kulak and Bush. It's Nurse and Stetch. It's Jake Wallman and the boy, John Klingberg. Revenge John Klingberg in this series. They were talking today on ONE, revenge goal John Klingberg. I don't have the balls to do that. I will be honest with you there. I did it once before this postseason. It didn't happen. I don't know if I can do it again. But you kind of subscribe to my theory here. When you look at the Oilers top line, if they're going to decide to separate Connor and Leon, and once again, they'll play together at every moment whenever they can. We know how Nobby rolls. But that Dallas decor behind Harley and behind Heiskanen, you've got Lindell and Cody Ceci. It took Connor McDavid like 4 minutes into the hockey game before he absolutely burned Esa Lindell going down on a breakaway. You see Cody Ceci, the other partner on the other side, going, fuck me, I'm glad that is not me at that moment, because he knows better than anyone. Leon also just took the puck away from Ceci at one point in that game, made it look so easy. You just went, yeah, Cease, we love you, but we know what you are. I do think this Oilers dynamic duo, they can feast on this back end. And I mean, you're still on the road. Dallas has last change. That's going to be even more apparent when you're back in Edmonton for games 3 and 4. Connor and Leon, 2+ points each. That's all Tyler's bet is tonight. Is Connor and Leon 2+ points each, Connor and Leon 3 shots each, and money line. Is it that simple to just ride the boys tonight?
Sometimes, they say.
Pause. No, I stand by what I said.
Phrasing. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple, stupid. Kiss.
Yeah.
And I think I like that. I like that idea here tonight.
Connor Brown banged up. So it's very weird. They had a week off without any NHL hockey games. He was not banged up beforehand. They got the 7 days. We find out that Connor Brown would be a game time decision, all those things. I read, now this is unconfirmed, he blocked a shot in practice. I don't know. Did you hear that as well?
I didn't hear about practice. I saw our boy Bruce Kurlock saying something about Brownie blocking a shot in Game 5 against Vegas. Didn't say anything about practice.
Okay, so maybe it was that. Either way,
a little banged up right now. You'd think that week of rest would be, would do him good, but we'll see if he can come back out there tonight and be a little better than he was in Game 1.
I do think Connor Brown, once again, still fine, but he is he's one of those straws that stirs the drink on the Edmonton Oilers PK. When he is moving and the Jets are going, he gives the Oilers a completely different, look sometimes. And also, Brownie, if you're on a 2-on-1 with Matthias Janmark, and Janmark, this applies to you as well. If you're 6 feet in front of the goaltender, dead middle of the ice, shoot the fucking puck, man. I swear to God. Let's move along now. Starting goaltender report brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. The sun is shining. The rain has stopped. So hopefully you weren't out on the water while the rain was going there. But, hey, you could have been on the water if you went down to Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. They got boats. They got pontoon boats. They got speed boats. They got all kinds of outdoor toys, everything you could ever think of. Personally, I want to scoot. I'm trying to work out. If I could work out like an influencer brand deal, I'll ride that scoot every single time to Greta back and forth from the office. We'll get some usage. We'll get some content out of it. But Sherwood Power Sports Marine in the heart of Sherwood Park, just down the road from Sherwood Ford, the Giant. And they also, just like Sherwood Ford and how they'll Nation Valet service your stuff, they got a 70,000-liter test pool in the back of Sherwood Power Sports Marine. They can do all your boat maintenance right there from Power Sports and Marine. Patrick, hit it for me, detail the tape between the two goaltenders this evening. Jake Ottinger, very good numbers so far these playoffs. 2.51 goals against, 9.17 save percentage. And then it's our boy Stu with a 3.39 goals against, 8.72 save percentage. But He's got those 2 shutouts down there. So I thought Stu was solid throughout the first 2 periods. I will say he didn't have that same confident look as he did in games 4 and 5 against the Vegas Golden Knights. He just looked big. He was playing aggressive in his crease, really utilizing his size. And then obviously we saw the 4th goal, the Matt Duchene one. Troy Stetcher falls right at the side of the net. That's why Duchene has so much time to corral that puck. But Stuart Skinner was lost in the crease there. He didn't know what was going on, immediately complaining with the referees. Hey, it's a bad period, I will say, but I thought overall Stuart Skinner was not the reason they lost that hockey game. But hey, sometimes you do need your goaltender to be your best penalty killer. But you look at a number of those goals. The Heiskanen one completely screened, but maybe not hugging his post as much as he should be. The Granlund goal, did you see the angle where Robo has the moving screen? Stuart Skinner, there was no half a second that he could have ever even seen that puck. And then obviously we talked about goal 4, and we know how goal 5 went in. Stuart Skinner, he is a bounce-back goaltender. That is what his career has been based on. I'm expecting a big performance from him tonight. I'm still confident.
Yeah, I'm confident too. I mean, I think, look, he was really good for the Oilers in that Vegas series when he came back. I don't think, again, like you said, I don't think you can pin that game 1 loss on him individually. Going to be interesting to see what happens, though, because, Calvin Pickard's going to be coming back from that injury pretty soon, too. And, another shaky performance might open up another uncomfortable conversation about the goaltending. In terms of Jake Goaltender, I didn't think he was very good in game 1.
Oh.
I really didn't. The Oilers were able to get 3 by him in the first 2 periods. And he's kind of struggled against the Oilers in his career, especially in the playoffs. .899 save percentage over the 7 games played, 6 last year, 1 this year, 2.62 goals against average. Even in the regular season, he is 5-3 against Edmonton, but a 2.8 goals against average and a .907 save percentage. So the Oilers can get to him. That's the thing. The Oilers can get to him, and they have to find a way to do that against him.
We've seen this in last year's playoff series, and we know what we saw in the regular season as well. Both of these teams, incredible offenses. It's going to kind of be the goaltender that can make the save, the timely save, the miraculous save, which is exactly what Jake Oettinger did in the 3rd period of game 1. Let's go now to what we project to be the Dallas Stars lineup, and it's brought to you by Greta Bar Yag, my humble abode. Friday night, downtown Edmonton. Greta, every single seat reserved inside this building. We got all kinds of merchandise that I'm going to be throwing. We got some trivia. We got all kinds of games. Zachary, we should play the football game, maybe even the beer pong game. Get a little loose during the intermissions, if you will. Also, Greta Bar Yag, on game days, $5.50 Bud Lights, $20 pitchers, and half off wings on every single game day. It's Wing Wednesday every single Oilers game day. So how many games have we done? How many playoff games has there been? 6, 5, 12? I've had wings here at Greta 11 of the 12 times.
Oh, I am so excited to get myself an order of wings. I didn't really eat a lot during the day today, so I kind of got to take it slow on the whole pre-gaming portion of things here. But I'm going to be getting an order of dill pickle wings the second this show is over.
I'm sweet chili wings, dill pickle fries. Might have to dabble in both of those. But Patrick, there it is on your screen. Mikael Granlund with Rupe Hansen, Mikko Rantanen, the all finish line. This is what we project. The problem is with the NHL playoffs, they don't actually drop the puck until 6:20, 6:25, whatever. And we get confirmed lineups like 10 minutes after the hour. But I got a party to host over here at Greta. So follow with me here and keep it locked on Twitter. My boy Zach, keep following him on Twitter. He'll keep you updated as well. Second line, Robo, Duchene, Wyatt Johnston. Third line, Mason Marchment. With my boy, former Fultonvale Firebird. Yes, that is my elementary and junior high school out in Strathcona County with Tyler Sagan, Jamie Benn with Oscar Bach, Johann Sebastian Oscar Bach, and Evgeny Dodonov, your D pairings, Harley Heiskanen. They're unreal. Essa Lindell with Cody Ceci, Mr. Game 7, Cody Ceci, and then Leon Bichelle with Ilya Labushkin to round out that pairing. We mentioned it. Their depth did show up at points. I thought Tyler Sagan had a really good game. Sam Steele, as much as I'm incredibly biased in this, I thought he had a fantastic hockey game in that one on game 1. But you talk about there was one line that was stopped, and it was the Robo, Duchene, Wyatt Johnston line. I knew you were going to be on the show, so I dug into some analytics. Chances were 6-11 with them on the ice, so they were -5. Expected goals for 41.7. And then also their top line, actually, chances for were 11-19, 33.8 expected goals for percentage. But Do I expect that to continue for the top line? No, not really. But that second line for me is the X factor of the Dallas Stars. Robo, Duchesne, and Wyatt Johnston are simply, to me, way too good of hockey players to be playing this inconsistent for this long of a stretch here in the NHL playoffs. But we saw it in game one. They didn't get a whole heck of a lot done. Hopefully that continues tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, listen, they loaded up the minutes for that top four in game one. Thomas Harley, 21.5 minutes. Miro Heiskanen, 20.5 minutes. Esa Lindell, almost 18 minutes. Cody Ceci, almost 18 minutes. Then you got Leon Bichelle at like 12 minutes. And you got Ilya Lyubushkin at 10-13. So we're starting to see, at least very early on in this series, kind of something that we saw in the first round of the playoffs with the LA Kings, where they were really loading up those minutes on the top four guys. I mean, even really the top three guys for that matter in LA. So it's going to be curious, or I'm curious, I should say, to see what happens as this series kind of begins to progress down the line.
The wear and tear of having to defend Connor and Leon, this whole Edmonton Oilers squad, that many minutes. That's a good point, Zach. I like that. That's why you're dialed in. That's why you're my Friday night guest here at Greta Bar Yeg. Feeling good. And if we're feeling good, let's go to it. Let's go to Bordzy's Bankroll, brought to you by Bet365. Download the app today because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. You can bet on pretty much everything, baby. The Stanley Cup winner, series winner, money lines, puck lines, power play goals, regular goals, points, block shots, over on Stuart Skinner saves, which I missed by one save in game one. I'm not still bitter. Who knows? Let's take a look here, Patrick, at what I'm feeling this evening. So our first option is an Evan Bouchard 1+ point. That is currently -150 on Bet365. He got an apple in game one. He was a point per game player last year in the Western Conference Final against the Dallas Stars. For me, just don't overthink it. Evan Bouchard is a point per game player in this postseason as well. Let it ride, -150 for 1+ point. Was thinking about the power play, said no. We just want to see it go through the hoop. The second option is Darnell Nurse, 2+ shots on goal. He's hit this in 2 straight games. He obviously had 2 shots on goal in game one. One thing I will say with Darnell Nurse, this bet, it won't be an exciting one because most of his shots come where he's skating it in all on his own, crosses the blue line, and rips it just at the goaltender's blocker. Which our new pal Devin Dubnyk has pointed out to me, and it's ruined watching Darnell, if he's not deciding to bring the puck around the boards to absolutely no one, sometimes throwing at the blocker. And I have been chasing these numbers recently. Darnell usually gets 2+ shots on goal. And then finally, come on, it's Connor McDavid's world. We're just living in it. 2+ points, -150. And I know our boy Devin Dubnyk must be laughing at that one backstage. That's insane to get 2+ points. He's favored to get 2+. Maybe I should have thought 3. Zachary, which of those 3 bets do you like the most?
I like the Connor McDavid one because it has a little correlation with one of my bets tonight. First rendition of the roster report coming through here.
Thank you.
Looks like Matthias Ekholm is out of the lineup here tonight. He's listed with scratches. Interestingly enough, though, Oscar Bach is also listed as a scratch right now. These aren't finalized or anything like that, so we got to keep an eye out for any of the reporters down there in Dallas. Might see Alex Petrovic coming in for a little 11-7 action.
Ooh.
But yeah, Bordzy, the 2+ points, I love that one for Connor McDavid. I got a couple things mixed up here.
Yeah,
tell
tell me what's going on in that head of yours.
We kept it simple, okay? Same game parlay, 3 straight bets.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. Same game parlay, Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 2+ points. Pays out like plus 1,800.
So all 3 of them to get 2+?
All 3 of them to get 2
Top
points.
line dominance.
GP. Got a 30% profit boost right now at Bet365 as well. And I also went with 3 first goal scorers, right? I wanted to open up the options a little bit. And I went Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zachary Martin.
There seems to be a theme here, Zachary. There seems to be a theme.
There's a theme. We need a big night from the big guns tonight. I mentioned their expected goal numbers versus actual numbers. Again, just to reference it, 4.7 expected goals for per hour of ice time, only 1.1 actual goals for per hour of ice time scored. They're doing a big way. I could really see that coming through tonight.
Yeah. Patrick, let me ask you, which of those 3 bets do you like the most? And are you still not on the Bet365 train? I love everybody's weird superstitions. It's the best.
No, I feel like I've been pretty unlucky in the past betting on the Oilers, so I think in the playoffs I'm just going to stay away. I'll bet on the Panthers Hurricanes if I want, but I do like the McDavid 2+ points. I'm not much of a minus better, to be honest, but that's probably part of my problem, but I do like that one.
Yeah, my buddy Jordan Wilson's in. Says sprinkling a plus bet here, Bordzy. Holy, he's a Leafs fan. Sprinkle in a conference finals game every once in a while, Willie. Bang, drop that one right there. Let's move along here now. Before we bring on our pal Devin Dubnyk, you know what? I want to give a shout out to Budweiser because they've been brewing Bud in Edmonton for 45 years. And now they've partnered up with legendary Edmontonian and former Oilers Stanley Cup champion, Mr. Game 7, Mr. Guarantee, Mark Messier, the Moose. Mikko Rantanen, you're not the Moose. I hate that he gets that nickname. Shout out Budweiser. They're fantastic. They've got their awesome and beautiful Edmonton cans that are around in select liquor stores in the Edmonton area. Keep it locked on their socials. They'll let you know how you can get some of those bad boys. They're also in our office upstairs, but we've never opened up one of the cases. I think we're going to keep it there for a very, very long time. And I tell you, I would love to have an ice-cold Budweiser with our next guest, who is brought to you by Tourism Jasper this summer. Come on now. Your summer memories, they start down in Jasper. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. From hiking trails, paddling wild waters, or sharing laughs by the fire, happiness finds you in Jasper. It's open, vibrant, ready to welcome you back for more unforgettable moments. Drive over, play outside, soak up the fresh air, enjoy some food and drink, and maybe even stay up late because your best summer memories are not behind you. They're waiting for you this summer in Jasper. Plan your trip at jasper.travel/summer as we bring him in. Former Edmonton Oilers legendary goaltender, my pal Devin Dubnyk. Doobie, we've had what? I don't know. It's not 48 hours total, but we've had a fair amount of time here to sit on this Edmonton Oilers loss. And I said it off the top of the show. I still feel right now the exact same way I did on Oilers Nation After Dark minutes after they blew that one in the third period. I'm obviously frustrated. You're pissed that they let that one slip away, but hey, to me, it's all a part of the roller coaster that is the NHL playoffs. Nothing new. The Oilers losing in some heartbreaking ways. Round 2, they lost with 0.4 seconds left. They were beaten up on the Golden Knights 2 games. Then they lost that one. They got right back to business and beaten up the Vegas Golden Knights. I kind of expect the same thing here, especially effort-wise from the Edmonton Oilers. Every quote from Connor McDavid that came out in the last 24, 36 hours, I should have bet 3+ points for Connor McDavid. But Dubes, it goes without saying, the Oilers looked great for 40 minutes when they kept it 5v5. Unfortunately, in the third period, several undisciplined penalties, sloppy stick plays from the Edmonton Oilers, and they were staring down the barrel of 3 consecutive Dallas power plays in which they scored 3 goals in 5 minutes and 26 seconds. It's obvious statement. It's so obvious, but the Edmonton Oilers tonight, they need to clean up their penalty kill because this Dallas Stars power play, they are lethal. They're clicking right now at 34.6% in the postseason. The PK needs to be better.
It does, and we've been talking about the PK needing to be better over and over and over again. This is a Dallas power play that has clicked against other PKs as well. So this is not, now they're going against an Oilers PK that's struggling. So this is a combination of things. Be better on the penalty kill and stay out of the box, because if they're not showing that they're capable of killing penalties, so we got to stay out of the box. And if they do, then they got to find a way. And right now, the only way that I see them killing penalties is getting some clears, and the end zone is just not working very well. There's miscommunication. They don't seem set. They haven't really kind of all playoffs. That's why the penalty kill hasn't been good all playoffs. The only time it's been good is when they get clears. They get pucks down the ice. It takes 15, 20, 25 seconds off. They just can't seem to settle down in structure in their zone and keep the puck out of the net. So the clears have become obviously the most important part of this penalty kill. You get 2 or 3 clears. They did in the second period in one, I believe, and it changes it for them. When they get stuck in their zone, it's become very difficult for them not to give up really good scoring chances, and they end up in the back of the net. So they got to stay out of the box, and if they do end up in the box, they got to find a way to get pressure at the start and get some clears. And if they don't, they've got to figure out their structure. They got to stop chasing around. It's not working. The crisscrossing, we saw that opening goal in the third period. You got 4 guys standing in a line, and a wrist shot from the blue line makes it all the way through without anybody getting in the way of it, including Skinner, is just not going to work. So they got to find a way to fix that. And if they can't, then they got to find a way to stay out of the box.
heartbreaking loss in that game one, right? I don't think there's any other way to cut it. What kind of a performance are you expecting from them tonight? They're going to bounce back in a big way like they've been able to do in the past?
Yeah, I think that's the next key is that they have to play with confidence. If you look at that game, it was a great hockey game. They were the better team, much better team for the vast majority of that hockey game. Even after, when they weren't in the penalty box, they were just a better hockey team by a lot. So you don't want to have this collapse, whatever you want to call it, in the third period. I don't really look at it as a collapse. It was a lack of execution on the PK and bad penalties being taken. So, and they let the momentum go, but they still got it back. I thought they were still getting scoring chances, 3-3, 4-3. They were still getting their chances. So don't let that change your game, because if you can stay out of the box and you can be more disciplined, you are the better hockey team. You've showed it. It's kind of what we expected to see. And so I just don't want to see the Oilers change their game because they ended up on the wrong side of the win column last game. I want to see the same thing. If anything, maybe just more of a step on their throat mentality if they do get up a couple goals, just to keep going at them. But again, I didn't hate anything about their game other than the penalty kill and the penalties. So I don't want to see anything change. I think they do have another level still. That's not a negative thing. That's a positive thing, that they just, when they go, it's pretty unstoppable. And I think with the veteran group that they have, that's the other thing that makes me feel good about it, is this group's been through so much and they have so much experience that they know this. They're not going to get thrown off. They're not going to let it affect the way that they play. And so I expect to see another good start. I expect to see Connor McDavid flying even more than he was, if that's possible. He was shot out of a cannon last game. And I can't wait to watch it. Again, watching that Vegas series, it was awesome that they took it in 5 games, but it was frustrating to watch how well Vegas shut down Connor and Leon. And it was exciting to see last game to get that exciting hockey back, and the way those guys fly around. There's just nothing like it. There's nothing like it around the NHL. The NHL playoffs have been amazing. They're exciting. Nothing touches when Connor McDavid hits the ice. I'm sorry. Maybe a little homer in me, but there's just nothing like it.
I think it's time for 97 to remind everyone that he is without a doubt the best player in the hockey universe. I also like that you mentioned the veteran squad. They're experienced. I said it. They've had their heart ripped out a bunch. So much and so that even me, a fan, has been through this so many times before that I'm not panicked. Maybe we know about the Oilers in Game 2 and what they do in Game 1s, how they adjust as the series moves along. So as the series moves along, as games move along, momentum is a huge factor in the NHL playoffs. Looking no further than what happened in that third period against the Dallas Stars. Their crowd silent through 2 periods, and then they get that Heiskanen goal to start off the third. Give them credit, dude. They were loud down there for Texas hockey. Give them a shout out. Maybe quiet down a little bit tonight. Oilers don't give them a whole lot to cheer about, but momentum's a crazy thing. I said it to open up the show, Dubes. 1 minute, you're standing outside Greta Bar-Yag yelling, "Cup yeah," to absolutely anybody that will listen to you. And then 20 minutes later, you're hosting a show talking about how the Oilers allow 5 unanswered goals. Life, it comes at you fast. And then I think the Oilers are going to remember that. I think that's something that we talked about on ONAD, and I'm not putting it on Nobby or anything, but we don't think there was a timeout taken from the Edmonton Oilers. I just look for them to handle the momentum swings a little bit better than they did in Game 1, find a way to stop the bleeding, and kind of compartmentalize in the moment.
And be ready for those momentum swings, because they are going to come. That building is loud. It gets going. It's Texas. They do it big there. And when you can see everybody in the building standing, and you will feel the momentum. And you know what's funny? You can feel it watching on TV, and they can feel it. You can just sense the way the game is going. And so with the experience and the leadership that Edmonton has, and it doesn't have to be, it can be anybody, but they have to be able to sense that momentum shift, and somebody needs to go on the ice and stop it, slow it down, whatever it is. If it's a whistle from Skinner, if it's just a hard shift, spend some time in the offensive zone, keep it simple, don't turn the puck over, just calm the momentum down and slow things down until you get things back on track, because they just let it get out of hand. And the thing is, too, is not just that game. Dallas has done this. They did it to Colorado in Game 7 in the third period. So you have to be careful, because it seems to be Dallas hangs around. They play these games. They were up 2-1 on Colorado in the series, and they led the series for like 2.5 minutes total. And they were up 2-1 in the series. So this is what they do. They hang around and they execute. when they seem like they're not even in the game. So I think they need to be aware of that and feel when that momentum is coming. And then somebody needs to step out and just slow it down. Again, just slow the game down. You're on the road. The crowd is against you. You're not in Edmonton. If you're in Edmonton and everybody's for you, yes, pick up the pace, get the crowd going, get everything exciting. When you're on the road and things start to feel a little bit out of control, someone needs to step up with 1 line, 2 lines, 3 in a row, calm things down, take the excitement back out of a little bit, pot one in the back of the net and quiet them up.
Bleed the air out of that balloon, if you will. And you mentioned the Oilers' incredible veteran squad. So are the Dallas Stars. Paraphrasing here, but I was reading a quote earlier today from Pete DeBoer. He was basically talking about, hey, not ideal that we need to come back in all these times. Very similar to the Edmonton Oilers, but they are down, but never out. Obviously, Dubs, Stuart Skinner wasn't the greatest third period. Obviously, for me, that game is not on Stuart Skinner, and I need you. So I have a buddy who's, I'll say it, he's the biggest piece of shit I know. He's just the worst. He is the epitome of hating on every goaltender with no nothing. Stu puts up back-to-back shutouts. He couldn't even speak to me the other day. He couldn't even look me in the eyes. Then he has a tough third period, and I tell you, yesterday we went an hour-long text message fight. He was putting the game on Stuart Skinner. What did you think of Stu's performance in this one? And you mentioned it. There is a leash on Stuart Skinner here. Calvin Pickard is not on the road trip in Dallas, but he's expected to possibly be good here as the series continues to move along. What did you think of Stuart Skinner's third period on the PK, I will add as well? And what do you think about the goaltending situation moving forward in Edmonton?
Yeah, it's. I mean, as far as the goaltending situation, it's just a crazy one to even think of because if we're hoping that Skinner is calm and collected and plays a great game tonight, like what we saw of him in those back-to-back shutouts, and then if that's the case, is and he's playing well when Pickard comes back, like I can't even tell you what to do at that point because Picks is 6-0. So and he was a huge reason why they are where we are right now. So we can visit that when the time comes, and hopefully it is a tough decision because that means that Skinner's playing well. I think, the game was definitely not on Skinner. I mean, you look at the goals. We walked through the first goal, the 3-2 goal, the wrister from the blue line. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to just see the game reads. Shifting your vision. The way that the momentum came and Heiskanen shifts back at the blue line. You have to be aware and understand that the puck's only going to one spot. So you got to make your move to get your head over to the other side, or just feel it and move over to the other side as you go down. Again, we don't have to dive so deep into that right now, but these are the kind of little things. I mean, you watch the Granlund goal, down a little bit early, but you can't fault him because the reason he's down a little bit early is because it's a perfectly timed crossing screen. There's not really anything I don't like about that play from Skinner or the Oilers. I thought Wallman did an incredible job. The job as that D-man is you want to block the shot, but you don't want to get across where the player can shoot back on the far side. I thought he took away the far side. You have a perfect crossing screen from the Dallas player, and it was just a perfectly executed play. So Skinner loses his eyes right as the shot's coming. Granlund kind of makes it look like he's going to pass it first. It was just really well executed. And then this is where I started to see a little bit of the scrambliness out of Skinner, which I wanted him to get back to that calm, especially the second shutout game, is the calm, the smooth movements, just a calming presence back there. The fourth goal, I thought he was a little scrambly on, but again, things are kind of coming off the rails. So it's not just him. It is his job to get back in there. He was a little late pushing across. I mentioned he thought the first shot went in, which is why he was sloppy getting up and kind of all twisted around trying to get back to the other post because he stopped for a second. He thought the first shot beat him on the glove side. So I just want to see him calm and moving smoothly. And there's a major difference watching him when he's trying to work hard and look fast, and that feels frantic, as opposed to moving smoothly and he is fast and he's in position and he's calm. And so you can just see it the way he moves around his crease. It's night and day. When he's calm and he's smooth and he's in position, he looks massive. He looks like he's on top of it. His hands are good. He's good. Rebounds are good, kind of everything. And then you see it's like maybe when he starts to not feel it as much, he wants to be fast and he wants to be quick, but then it becomes frantic. And that's when things really they don't work for a lot of goalies that way, but they especially don't work for Skinner when he becomes frantic and boxy and just everything's moving too quickly and it's rigid. That's what I want to see him get away from. I want that second shutout, the series clinching game, to me was the best I'd seen him in a long time. And it was just purely because of his movements in the crease, not even the shots that came his way.
He's a big boy. He's good when he's calm, cool, composed, collected. Dubs, final one before we go. Got to host a party. Score prediction, anytime goal score. How does this one end?
I was going to go off a little bit on this one, but I'm going to go Zach Hyman. Just because of our previous bets, I hopped on for the bets, and he's always all over the place. You guys should start betting on his hit total, just double-digit hits.
They don't offer hits. If they did, I'd be a millionaire.
You know why you don't offer hits is because it's too like rink to rink. It's not like a stat that you can purely track. Because some rinks will be like, yeah, that wasn't enough. Some rinks you can breathe on a guy and you get a hit, and some rinks you got to annihilate somebody into the upper row to get a hit. So I'm gonna go with Zach Hyman. I'm gonna go 4-2 Oilers here.
Nice. I forgot to mention it. Me, Tyler, Liam, Jay, all hammered a Zach Hyman anytime goal bet. So that makes me feel good when Devin Dubnyk's telling me that as well. Doobie, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you, Oilers Nation After Dark, right here on the Oilers Nation YouTube channel, right after the conclusion of the Oilers Stars Game 2. Something tells me win, lose, or draw, it's going to be rowdy as shit inside this bar later tonight. And I hope it's a positive rowdy. Dubs, we'll talk to you in a bit.
All right, see you, boys.
There he is, Devin Dubnyk, brought to you by Tourism Jasper. Before we head out, Zachary, is there any lineup news we got here for the Stars?
Yeah, Dallas kind of blending up the lineup here. Going to be kind of interesting to see. So I guess the major points here are that Ilya Lyubushkin comes out on the blue line. Alex Petrovic slides in for him. Oscar Bak out of the lineup in favor of Colin Blackwell. And then, boy, that bottom or that middle six really kind of getting mixed up here. You got Matt Duchene with Tyler Seguin, Mason Marchment, Wyatt Johnson with Jamie Benn and Evgeny Dadonov. And then, of course, that fourth line, Jason Robertson, fourth line winger, Sam Steele, and Colin Blackwell as well. So interesting to see. I think Dallas is recognizing that they kind of got caved in at 5-on-5.
That Robo on the fourth line. That's wild to me.
Crazy.
That is wild. If you would have told me that 12 months ago, wouldn't have believed that. Final one before we head out. Let's do it quick. Score prediction, anytime goal scorer. Pat, you as well, but Zach first.
5-2 Edmonton Oilers win. Cash the over for any of the over bettors today. Let's go downtown Connor Brown.
Oh, Pat, what about you?
Yeah, I've got 4-2 Oilers, and he has no shots in the last 3, but that means he is due Corey Perry goal tonight.
There we go. I also was going to go 4-2 for the Edmonton Oilers, so I will stick to my guns. If Pat's feeling it, I'm feeling it, and Dubes is feeling it, it's probably not going to be 4-2, but I'm still going to ride with that, and I'm going to say Zach Hyman anytime a goal. That will do it for us. Pre-gaming with Bordzy down here at Greta Bar Yeg. Never too late to come on out to Greta Corp, as you see here with my coffee cup. We're going to have an awesome evening this evening. Zachary, we will talk to the people right here on the Oilers Nation YouTube channel right after the conclusion of Game 2 between the Edmonton Oilers and the Dallas Stars. Over and out. Good luck on the Bet365 Battlegrounds. We'll talk in a bit. Peace.